Please keep your mics on mute at all times when you are not intervening in the conversation. We would very much appreciate if you could leave your camera on so that we have a sense of interaction with you, dear attendants. We're gonna have presentations from each of our speakers, and after each of these mini presentations, we're gonna have a very short Q&A. And at the end of the webinar, we're gonna have the Q&A session. If in the meantime you think of something you'd like to ask the speakers, or you have an observation or a remark, you have the chat who's available for everybody, so you can just type in your question or your remark there, and when we get to the Q&A, we will address each of these issues. Now, without further ado, I would like to leave the floor to our first speaker, Mr. Wijnand Marshall, Economic and Commercial Counselor with the Netherlands Embassy in Bucharest. Wijnand?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Veronica, for your kind introduction. And thanks to all of you for your interest in doing business in the Netherlands. This morning, I will give you a brief overview of the Dutch economy. I work at the Netherlands Embassy in Bucharest, so mainly I deal with Dutch businesses that are interested in doing business in Romania, so they come to the Romanian market. But this morning it's sort of the other way around. But of course, I'm also welcoming Romanian companies to the Netherlands. So once again, I'll give you a short introduction to the Netherlands in this presentation. I'll focus on some key economic sectors and maybe most importantly, guide you to where to find information on doing business in the Netherlands. Of course, on that last topic, you'll hear a lot this week during the series of webinars. Maybe move to the first slide, Veronica. My aim is not to overwhelm you with figures, but just as a general introduction to the Netherlands. Here are some statistics. The Netherlands is only 1/6 of Romania. Can you imagine? And we almost have the same number of inhabitants, so it's quite densely populated. And you also notice the central location of the Netherlands. We are a sort of economic gateway to Europe with access to large markets around us. And on the next slide, Veronica will see how this works out. If you choose the Netherlands as a location to run your business from, you are in close proximity to many clients and customers in Western Europe, Northwestern Europe. So it's also thanks to our logistic sector, these clients can be easily reached. Well, let's go back a few centuries to understand what made the Netherlands as it is today. We'll see that on the next slide. There you see a nice map of how the Netherlands looks today, but a couple of centuries ago, the Netherlands looked more like on the right slide, although that's a map actually of the part of the Netherlands that is below sea level. And our geographic location also meant that we always have been looking towards the sea. We are looking for new horizons to trade and to engage with other countries on all continents. It's basically in our DNA. 1/3 of the Dutch GDP is earned through exports. Well, we're a relatively small country. Our market, even though we have 17.5 million inhabitants, it's still quite small. But well, as you just saw, the proximity of large markets around us makes it an interesting country. Our connection to the sea did bring us a lot in terms of trade and prosperity. Maybe some examples in the next slide here. The disadvantage is that half of our country, as you saw, is located below sea level. We always had to keep our feet dry. So how did we do that? With building dikes and polders and all sorts of water engineering, as you see here, delta works. And after we secured the waterways and the seashore of our country, we created new land and reinforced existing land. This also became an important export product for the Netherlands. Brings me to another sector on the next slide that is often associated with the Netherlands. It is the agricultural sector. Also, thanks to our geographic location, fertile ground, and availability of water, this has been a thriving sector for centuries, with close cooperation of farmers and companies in the agricultural sector, the government and knowledge institutes. We became the world leader in the production of all sorts of agricultural goods and innovation. The Netherlands is the second largest exporter of agricultural goods in the world. Well, and then transportation is another one. With on the next slide, with Amsterdam Airport, the EU's #3 airport, the largest port in Europe is Rotterdam. Connectivity is ensured. The city of Rotterdam has a partner actually in Constanța. I thought maybe that's nice to mention here. We hope to put some life in this partnership. The port of Rotterdam is serving Western Europe, almost up to Vienna in general, whereas the port of Constanța serves Eastern Europe, also up into Vienna. So what we hear sometimes that there's a competition between the two ports, but actually there's not. If you look at the facts, there's no overlap, and that's why we think cooperation would be beneficial for both ports. On the next slide, I'll get into that in a minute. I just wanted to mention that water and agriculture and transportation are only 3 sectors that I wanted to highlight because it's so related to the Dutch strategic location and landscape. Well, here we look at our bilateral trade figures over the past years. We see a steady growth. Of course, this year will be a bit different, as you can understand. But trade flows between our two countries have grown steadily over the past 10 years. The basis is strong, I would say, and we expect these figures to return in 2021. According to Romanian statistics, around 5,400 Dutch companies have invested in Romania, a total of around 10 billion, which makes the Netherlands one of the largest foreign investors in Romania. The other way around, it looks a bit different. So that's why we hope to this webinar helps with more or less equalizing this imbalance. There's an active network of Dutch companies in Romania with all these companies present here, either itself or through a joint venture. And this network has a name, I would say, and it is the Netherlands Romanian Chamber of Commerce that is a very active network in Romania, and also in the Netherlands you have a point of entry, and that is the Dutch Romanian network. Of course, the embassies in both countries are also ready to assist with requests, introductions, market studies, and resources. Now to the macroeconomic overview. These are figures of last year. This year we see an economic decline of around 4.5% and an expected growth of 3.5% next year. The unemployment remains quite low thanks to government support programs. And as growth sectors, I have indicated some, but it's not exhaustive: services, construction, like here in Romania, IT, and industry. Then the next slide, the advantages of the Dutch market. Well, the Netherlands can be a very good place to start a business for entrepreneurs all over the EU. It has a great infrastructure. There's openness to innovation and technology, and a high level of English proficiency among general population and in the administrative system. The country is also a logistical hub, as you have seen. It offers opportunities for business immigration and remote company incorporation. The Dutch tax system, I didn't mention it here on the slide, but it will be a topic this afternoon. It features several tax incentives to stimulate innovation and business activities. As an international-oriented country, the Netherlands is home to many highly educated foreign workers, including many Romanians. We have around 4,000 Romanian students coming to Dutch universities every year. So that's quite a lot. It's actually more than Dutch people living in Romania. The attractive business climate of the Netherlands was highlighted in a KPMG study. It was one of the top 3 countries with the lowest business cost, especially for digital and research and development services. Now, well, how this works, starting a business in the Netherlands, Dennis will provide you all the details this week, and the relevant tax and financial details, Mazars will inform you this afternoon. Well, on the next slide, we see an example of how we have organized innovative sectors in the Netherlands. We call them our top sectors. There are 9 in total. This is a way the government stimulates innovation by bringing together government, knowledge institutions, and businesses. Often they are clustered in a specific region. For example, the food valley around Wageningen University, and also the automotive industry around Eindhoven. So this is quite transparent, and you have easy access to these sectors because they are so well organized. And lastly, maybe my most important slides. Let's put them on. Yeah, it is the website business.gov.nl. It's the Dutch government portal for foreign businesses who are interested in the Dutch market. Here you find information you need in a pretty well organized way. Just click on the menu. On the next slide, you'll see the menu. I open it up for you. And there now you have various options, including webinars also on the next slide. For those who can't get enough of webinars and videos, then there is some more pleasure on the business.gov.nl website. That's all from my side. My contacts are on the last slide, Veronica, if you can put them on. Don't hesitate to contact the embassy. We're open for business, and well, let's hear from NLinBusiness and NFIA to complete the story in this first webinar. I can take some questions now, or wait for the other 2 presenters.
Thank you, Wijnand, for your presentation. Yes, I would suggest we give the opportunity to our attendants to interact directly with you. So, dear all, if you have any question for Wijnand specifically, now is the moment. Just unmute your mic and state your question. We haven't received anything on the chat, Wijnand, so I would just assume everybody's holding on until the end of the presentation. So then I suggest we go on to our next speaker, Mrs. Neshla Gunai, from the Netherlands Foreign Investment Agency. Neshla?
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon. This is Necla Günay. I'm calling in from Istanbul right now. Next slide, please. So today I will tell you something about us, what we do, and actually it is pretty much some of the slides are same as Wijnand, so I will skip those or go through it quickly. I think we missed one slide, the second slide. Is this the latest slides I have shared? The second slide is with our pictures on it of the team. It's not there, it's okay. No, it's okay, we can go to the second. Yeah, NRCC, Netherlands Foreign Investment Agency, is the official investment promotion agency of the Netherlands. We are operational unit of Dutch Ministry of Economic Affairs. Our mission is to support companies who are willing to invest in the Netherlands in this area, but also in Romania, Bulgaria, and Croatia. What we do, when a company comes to us, we have an intake with the company. After analyzing the project itself, the investment itself, we contact our HQ, or most of the times we contact our regional offices. We have 12 regional partners. Every region has its own investment agency as well. They want to attract investments to their region. We, as the Netherlands Investment Agency, we try to do that overall in the Netherlands. We are established in 1978, sorry. It says 29 offices, but we have already 33 or 34 offices abroad. We are getting bigger, and one headquarters in The Hague. We mostly work, we are included in the Dutch consulates and embassies. So in Istanbul here, we are at the Dutch Palais d'Hollande. It's a beautiful palace where we are. And we are, as said, founding partner of the Invest in Holland network, which includes the regional development agencies of several cities. Next, please. So here are the offices worldwide. As you see, we don't have overall everywhere, but we do cover the areas next to us. So in Istanbul, we cover also Cyprus, for example, and all those countries that I have mentioned earlier. Next, please. So yeah, here I wanted to show you the overall results 2019. We don't have 2020 numbers yet. So we in 2019, let me say last year, we supported almost 400 companies that are settled down in the Netherlands. They have approximately created 14,000 jobs in the Netherlands, direct jobs, and invested approximately 4.3 billion euros. As Wijnand already said, we have top sectors in the Netherlands. For 2019, as you see, 99 projects. So the number one top sector was IT. Most of the companies were IT companies. Why most of the IT companies are opening business in the Netherlands, I will tell you later. And other top sectors, services, life science and health, creative industry, and transport and logistics. Most of the projects, they come from, as you see, 94% comes from North America. We have many from Europe coming, Middle East. Asia is also quite high. We started not many years ago in Australia, but still some coming from there too. The top 5 activities are most of the companies, they start with marketing and sales office in the Netherlands. So they have a European branch, and some of them, they open also a distribution center next to the marketing sales. We have many companies doing R&D in the Netherlands, and also why I will tell you later. Next, please. Sorry. Just a fast fact. I don't know why it's here, but main, I mean, most of you, you know already that we are a parliamentary democracy and a constitutional monarchy. We have a king and a queen, which we love very much. We have a currency as euro. Our population is small, 70 million. That's why we need foreign direct investments very much. Together we are stronger, and our capital is Amsterdam. Next, please. Yes, so some of the slides you will see the same information, but in a different way. As Wijnand already said, we are #1 competitive economy in Europe. Again, as Wijnand said, we have a beneficial. Sorry, I'm not on the slides. Oh, yeah. We are located in the center of the 3 largest economies in Europe, Germany, UK and France, which is very important. We have excellent accessibility to the rest of Europe by land, air or water. We have high quality infrastructure in the Netherlands, an open culture with an international mindset, which is very important because the work and life balance is very, very much well settled in the Netherlands. We have we have a vibrant cosmopolitan community combining business and creativity, which is also very important, I think, and high quality of life and relatively low cost of living, actually. Besides that, as you see here, we are #2 ranked European airport. We are, after Heathrow, I think, most busy and well-connected airport, Schiphol in Amsterdam. And next to that, thanks to Amsterdam Exchange, which is the world-leading internet exchange with unique, diverse community, providing performance and redundancy to the company's IT needs. The cables that connects US and the European digital networks lands in the Netherlands, which means the Netherlands is the main hub actually for the digital connectivity in the European mainland. That's why most of the IT companies are expanding their business in the Netherlands. Next, please. Sorry, I am trying to, my screen is behaving weird a bit. And again, I think I will go quickly through this, as Wijnand already said. #1, transport infrastructure, most connected country worldwide, a great European airport, which is very, very well connected to the rest of the world. We have a very good international tax system worldwide, and most competitive economy, as said, and very, very, very good in innovation. Next, please. Yes, these are some of the sectors we are very good in. These are some. We are in most of the sectors we are very good in. Why? Because we work in clusters. So you will see later in the slides as well, we have many clusters. Companies are coming together, working together, which we call samenwerken. We love working together, developing a product together. So some of the great, for example, agri-food, we are #1 in Europe and #2 in the world after US. I told you already why we are good in IT sector, the information technologies, as we are a hub for the European side, etc., etc. So I will not double talk about the same thing. So now, yes, slide number 10, please. Next slide. I think I told you about this, about the work and quality of life, the fiscal climate. So I will, yes, this is a better one. So we have a beneficial tax system with competitive tax rate of 25%. and 90% over the first 200,000 euros. We hope that this will be lowered next year. We have a tax ruling of 30% ruling, tax ruling for foreign employees. Relatively low cost of doing business in the Netherlands. We have many incentives for if you are willing to do some research and development in the Netherlands. Yeah, I can tell you it depends. Actually, this is a very general slide, but it depends on the product you are developing or the product you want to sell. It depends those key advantages. Next, please. So Wijnand already said, as you see, 170 million consumers within 500 kilometers and 244 million consumers you're reaching, I mean, within 1,000 kilometers, which is a very, very good location to to invest. Why? As a company, sometimes we hear other countries as well, but it's not only important to reach the domestic market of that country, but if you are willing to expand your business to Europe, it's always good to also reach the countries next to the country you have invested. So in this case, the Netherlands is very much doing well with reaching a lot of consumers within less kilometers. Next, please. So we have a very highly skilled workforce in the Netherlands. 90%, it says it's 92% of us speaks fluent English, which is very, very, very good as it makes your life easier. And 32% has a master's and a bachelor degree. We are always, actually 2 or 3 years in a row, we are number one in worldwide EF English Proficiency Index. Next. Yes, here are our universities. I think the next slide will show why we show you this. Yes, next slide. Yes, this is the clusters I was talking about. So we have many different clusters. As for example, in Wageningen campus. Or let me start with the high-tech campus in Eindhoven. Many, for example, Turkish companies are settling down there. It was called Philips campus. It changed to high-tech campus in Eindhoven. 200 companies are located, for example, there, so which means 12,000 jobs. It's a very big area where you can develop your product together with other companies. This goes also with other clusters we are seeing here, for example, Wageningen, which is very good in agri-food and agriculture. We have many companies going to Utrecht Science Park as well to develop a product. So if you are thinking to do some R&D with the expansion you're planning, I think the Netherlands is a great option to do so. Next, please. Yes, the Amsterdam exchange I just talked about is the world leading internet exchange with unique diverse community providing performance and redundancy of the company's IT needs. As said, the cables that connects US and the European digital networks lands in the Netherlands. So we are the main hub for digital connectivity as well. The rest, I think it's I discuss about the rest of the points. So we are ranked third worldwide in ease of doing digital business. So I think we are doing very well in digital connectivity as physical connectivity next to that, of course. Next, please. So we are exceptional. We have exceptional quality of life, sixth on the ranking happiest place on earth. And it was, I think, UN did a research on children. They were #1 happy in the Netherlands. So we have a universal, a good healthcare system, free education, standard of living. The standards of living is very high. The costs are relatively low. We have many regional expat desks who are willing to help all the expats with all their issues. We have an active life, so we cycle a lot. Next, please. So these are the expat centers who are willing to help you with every issue you are having. If you have any issue and you are settled down in the Netherlands, those expat centers we work together with. So next to us and the regional partners, the expat centers are there for you to support. All of these support is free of charge and confidential, so we work totally free of charge because we want you to have a soft landing to the Netherlands. Next, please. Yes, these are the regional partners I told you. So depending on the region you would like to enter the Dutch market, these are the partners there to support your business. Next, please. Yes, as said here, we connect. So we connect you with the right partners, with the right networks. We inform you about the latest incentives, business locations, regulations, laws, and procedures. We organize custom-made fact-finding trips, which means after our discussion here, we send you with your team to the Netherlands. Our colleagues picks you up from the hotel or the airport, and they already have a tailor-made program for you ready, and they will go one by one together with you to all these appointments and send you back to your own country to decide. So all these service we do is said free of charge and confidential. Well, that's it today for me. Next, please. So you can, if you are willing to invest in the Netherlands, please feel free to contact us. This is my mobile number, and my team members are also here. I had a slide on them, but I can see it right now. So please feel free to ask free information, and we are here to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nejla Gunay, Country Director for Turkey, Romania, Croatia, and Bulgaria of the Netherlands Foreign Investment Agency. As she mentioned, now is the time for questions. So I don't see anything on the chat as of this moment, but if you have anything you'd like to ask her. Oh, yes, we have a question from Radu Andrei. It is known that a first and a safer way to start business in a foreign country is to find a local partner. As a Romanian producer, the company Bancop SRL is interested in finding distributors for the Dutch and the neighboring countries. Can you recommend some resources that we can use to search for interested partners to join our efforts to enter the Dutch market with our Romanian-made products? Nejla, if you could take this one.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell the answer because I don't know what kind of product he's selling, but we don't do matchmaking as we are a government and it's all about money, so we don't do matchmaking in partners, but our partners, regional partners, are most of the time willing to help foreign companies to matchmake them with the local Dutch partners. So if this person can connect to me with this question, I will make sure to research and get back to him if we can connect them to a Dutch partner.
All right, thank you, and I hope that answers the question. Maybe this is a good moment to mention if you have any questions or requests after the webinar, feel free to put them in an email to us, to the NRCC, and we'll make sure to contact the right party and get you the answers. Another question, Neshla, from Walter Reyers. What is your experience with opening a bank account for foreign investors?
I think I hear my team members smiling about this question. I see them as well. So yes, opening a bank account is a biggest issue we have right now as Invest in Holland network. And this is not particularly for one company or country, sorry. It's most of the countries we have the same issue because our banking system, our banks are having their own due diligence. Since very short, all the projects that NFVA is included, we give a reference letter. With this reference letter, it is easier most of the times to open a bank account. However, it's never a guarantee. We know this issue. We are trying to work on it together with the Banking Association and NFVA. But if you are having issues with the banks, and we are as NFVA included in that project, we will do our best to help you to open a bank account.
Thank you. And another question from Alin Popescu. We are a software company with 300 engineers. I'm interested in find first partners in the Netherlands. How would you recommend to proceed?
Sorry, the person is willing to
find first partners in the Netherlands.
The previous question was also about the partners, so I don't know what they actually mean by partners, and if they need a partner. Most of the time you don't need a partner to open a business in the Netherlands, and you don't even need the money inside. If you have €1, you can open a establishment in the Netherlands. So maybe it's good that I can speak to those companies and to understand what they mean by finding a partner and why they are actually willing to find a partner and not doing that by themselves. So my question, if those companies can connect to me, please. I'm here to with the team to help you and to direct you to the right network as well.
All right, thank you. I don't see any other questions on the chat now. So unless anybody wants to unmute their mic and join in the conversation, I suggest we thank Neshla again and leave the floor to our last speaker of this webinar, Mike Mandemaker, International Business Manager with Netherlands in Business. Mike?
Hi, Veronica. Thank you very much for introducing me. I think I'm sharing my screen, right? Is that correct?
Not yet, but try again, please. Yeah.
All right. Other than Neshla and Wijnand, I'm actually working from The Hague. So I can confirm that we are exceptionally happy here in the Netherlands, as Neshla told you before. I think we have about 15 minutes left on the clock, so I'll try to keep my story as short as possible. First of all, my name is Mike Mandemaker. I work for NLinBusiness. Other than the two speakers before, NLinBusiness is a private initiative. We have been started 3 years ago. Initiated by the employers organizations here in the Netherlands. I made a slide with a couple of services that we provide. I will keep this short, but if you would like to know more, I'll send the slides to Veronica and she can share them with you later on. Very quickly, what we do as a private offer is, for example, offer service provider database. So here in the Netherlands, we usually work as also Wijnand said before, we work for Dutch companies going to, in this case, Romania or other countries around the globe. And we provide them with a service provider database in which they can find commercial service providers in the Netherlands that can help them with doing business internationally. However, these commercial service providers can also help incoming, from our side, incoming corporations. That means that you can also look up this database and see if there's, for example, parties that can help you with a soft landing in the Netherlands. Our website is entirely in English, so you can visit it. It's on my last slide. What we do is we have created a network of NLBusiness hubs. A business hub for us is a bilateral chamber of commerce that can help a company that wants to go to the other country, either export or invest, and help these companies. We work with the NRCC in Romania, so the Netherlands Romanian Chamber of Commerce, the provider of this webinar, is our partner in Romania. And from the other way around, we work with the Dutch Romanian network that we'll tell you about a little bit more in the next slide. What we also provide is an overview or a database of events around internationalization, where you can filter on Romania and see all the events that are being organized either here in the Netherlands or, for example, by the DRN or the NRCC or the Embassy, of course, in regards to the Netherlands and Romania. Next to that, we have a database of publications. So, for example, market reports on different sectors that you can study and see, in theory, where are your chances. And we also provide that's actually for Dutch entrepreneurs an academy, an international academy, where they can improve their knowledge on, for example, export documentation. The last thing that I would like to show is a virtual gateway. This gateway is actually a VR goggles that you can use to see a little bit more of the Netherlands. We're actually providing these to, for example, parties such as the NRCC and the Embassy. So they should be available next year. And you can actually see, for example, glass housing in the Netherlands. How does this work in VR? So you can walk, especially important in these times, you can walk through the Netherlands in VR and see some of the innovations that have been presented by Dutch companies. So what I would like to do is go shortly into the DRN and the NRCC network, and then look into a few sectors that might be interesting to you, because they're of high, I think, high interest here in the Netherlands. Well, these are a few of the private parties that we work with. The NRCC is one of them. Also a few commercial parties, entrepreneurs organizations, industry organizations, for example. Well, the NRCC you probably know, like I said, that's the Netherlands Romanian Chamber of Commerce, situated in Romania. It's always very important to us that we have a local partner in the country of origin. And then we also search for a party that is actually active in the Netherlands. And I think this is a very, they're presenting later this week, I think December 9th, so in 2 days, the Dutch Romanian network, a very good private starting point for you as a Romanian entrepreneur wanting to do business in the Netherlands, where you can find either a network, but also other Romanian companies that are already doing business in the Netherlands, and where you can peer-to-peer ask for their experience, for example, use the network events, a very important network partner of the NRCC. Then to the promising sectors and industries. I'm just watching the time. So this is not a complete story, but I laid it out for sectors and industries that I think are of high importance, because they're very promising, because of changes that are due in these sectors. First of all, again, I will share these slides with you if you want to. The industry and high tech in the Netherlands. What we're seeing there is that we have a high digitalization of production, going towards an industry 4.0. That means that our relatively small companies, so we have loads of SMEs in the Netherlands, are actually working towards a smart industry. And I think the business opportunity here is that most of these companies are small. I listed a few larger ones, including Philips, ASML, but 87% of the companies that are active in the Netherlands producing belong to the small enterprises. And I heard a couple of you say something about searching for partners. I think looking for partners is always easier if you're working together with SMEs. Then we're open to partnerships with other companies. And as Nejla and Wijnand told, we as the Dutch are, I think, very open to international cooperation. So this offers a chance for you. Also, I wrote down a few important trade fairs. Of course, trade fairs are a bit difficult in these times, but either next year or a year after that, I think trade fairs will start again. Loads of them are working towards a more hybrid version or a digital version. I just lighted out a few, the most important ones in this industry, including the industrial processing, maintenance next, TIV, and TechniShow. I think these are good starting points to connect with either Dutch companies, know what the market is like, see what the competition is like on the Dutch market. So look these up. Again, I'll share them with Veronica, but these are good starting points. The next industry that I would like to look at is the energy industry. We're, as most countries, moving towards a more green energy providing. And I think another interesting trend in the Netherlands is that we are turning off our own gas supplies. We've had our own gas, especially in the north of the Netherlands, but we've had a few earthquakes in the north of the Netherlands, quite a few actually, which is the reason that we're actually turning off these gas supplies. And that means that we are moving towards a different kind of energy in our houses. So cooking, for example, which is done mostly on gas in the Netherlands, is actually going towards electrical cooking. The same goes for heating our houses. So these offer opportunities. People are looking into different kinds of an energy, not gas, but electric. So if you're active in this field, I think that might actually be interesting. Also, I think e-mobility is very, very important in the Netherlands. We are quite a small country, as Wijnand said before, and we have a good and wide network of electric points where you can charge your car. So I think this is also due to the fact that the distances are not too big. For example, I drive from Rotterdam to The Hague. Very often it's only 25 kilometers. So the bigger cities, Amsterdam, The Hague, Rotterdam, Utrecht, they're all very close, meaning that electric driving is actually a good option. That combined with a good network means that electrical driving is on the front row, I think, within the European Union. And it's rising quickly, and this offers opportunities for electrical steps, electrical scooters, and cars, of course. And I think also good to know, smart buildings, smart cities, smart industries are topics of high importance here. So I also listed a few trade fairs that I think in this regard can be interesting, including Vakbeurs Energie, the offshore energy, and Building Holland. Then the next slide. In regard to health, I think as with more European countries, we're facing demographic changes. Our population is aging, and that means that we have to think differently about our healthcare system. We're looking towards innovative products. We're looking for solutions when it comes to a shortage of people that work in healthcare, and especially the elderly home care is, of course, becoming an important market. I think if you're active in e-health, but also in blockchain or 3D printing, there's many business opportunities in the Netherlands that you can look at. And here too, I wrote down the two most important trade fairs. It's the Medica and the Zorg Totaal. I think the healthcare sector will become more and more important over the coming years. So if you're active in healthcare, look this up. And I think the embassy has actually written a very important and very good market research about this as well. Lastly, look into construction industry. Wijnand also said this is an industry that can be very interesting. We face quite a bit or quite an interesting threat actually to building new houses. We're dealing with a nitrogen crisis here in the Netherlands, meaning that we actually at the moment very hard to build new buildings. The chances therefore lie in renovation of older buildings. So either we have quite a few older buildings in the Netherlands that still use quite a bit of gas, for example, for heating. And since we're already switching from gas to electric, this might be a good chance for people to invest in better isolation of their houses. Also, I think we're switching as we're not building new houses at the moment, and there's a lot of houses that we need. We're actually looking into transforming buildings that were not built for housing into houses. So, for example, old office buildings that are empty, especially during Corona times, are actually transformed into houses. So, if you're active in the construction industry, this might actually be very interesting. Now, the last thing that I also mentioned is the fact that 90% of the houses cook on a gas stove, and this is switching. So, you should definitely look into that as well. The important trade fairs on this regard are the Bouwbeurs, Building Holland, and the Renovatie en Transformatie. That was it from my side. Here are my contact details and our English website. Just take a look on the platform. Send me an email if you'd like to know more. I think we have about 5 minutes left on the clock. I went through it quite quickly, so I hope that gives you some opportunity to ask me, Wijnand, or Neshla some questions that are still pending. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike, and don't worry about the time. I think we're doing it. Yes, we now have arrived to the Q&A part of this webinar. And to speed things up, I would suggest whoever has a question, just unmute your mic and state your question to any of our 3 speakers. So let's see who's gonna break the ice and be the first one with a live question. If not, maybe one of you has a question for somebody from our audience. It's also possible.
I'm very curious. I mean, I don't see everyone. I think I'll just try and switch the view. So I can see 7 people at the moment. Maybe the rest of you also want to switch on their cameras. So it's nice to see the audience. And then if we all have our webcams on, I would like to just for my information, see how many people are actually active in the Netherlands already and how many people are considering it. I would like to do that by putting your thumb or finger or a post-it or something else on the webcam. So everyone put their thumbs or post-it on the webcam now.
Oh, we already have 2 persons answering, Anna Nemes and Radu Andrei. 3,
All
4.
right.
Oh, we have quite a few.
All right. The idea was if you put your thumb actually on the webcam and then take it away if you're active in the Netherlands and leave it on if you're not active in the Netherlands yet. Okay, I see quite a few thumbs, so that's good. Maybe one of the people that is actually active in the Netherlands, Mr. Klapper, for example, you didn't put your thumb on the webcam. Am I correct in the assumption that you're not active in the Netherlands yet?
Yeah, we are a software Romanian company.
Mm-hmm.
We are developed in software, robots, and document management.
Okay.
And we are looking to find some other company which can help us for internalization in Poland, for example. But okay. I will come back with a mail on your email. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that would be very interesting. I think it's
sounds great for us as well. So please contact us. We will help you further.
Yeah, I think you might have been the one who asked the question before about finding a partner in the Netherlands. Not sure, but if that would be the case, I think both Neshla and I could probably help you with your next steps. So that would be great. Yeah. Anyone else who would like to share why they're in this webinar today or have a question for today?
I would like to share something. My name is Radu Andrei.
Mm-hmm.
I have with the company I'm working with in this moment only occasional deliveries to the Netherlands. So that's why I was asking how can I find a place to reach for a possible distributor. But in the past, in my previous work, I used to work with several Dutch companies. They were also distributors for our products that we were producing at that time. And I can tell that once you get a partner in the Netherlands, you will do it for a long time. They are loyal, they are open, they are hardworking, and I have every good experience that any businessman can have with them. And I would like to encourage everybody who wants to go to the Netherlands to do it. Second, I'm trying to develop the export market for our company, and there is one advantage that the Netherlands is having. Somebody mentioned in the slide that 90% of the population speaks English. This is a very great advantage because I'm trying to develop market in Hungary or in Bulgaria or in the Czech Republic, and the language is a very big barrier in front of developing export. So good luck to everybody who wants to go in the Netherlands. And thank you all the speakers who have spent time and effort to make such wonderful presentations. Thank you.
Very welcome. I see that Ewout is also in the call today. Ewout, maybe in the last few minutes would be nice. Mr. Andre also said something about the business culture in the Netherlands. That's something you're very passionate about. Maybe you would like to highlight 2 or 3 things that are very different in Romania than they are in the Netherlands when it comes to culture, of course.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, that's a bit off the bat because everybody can attend my webinar on this Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't know you're presenting this week as well. I'm sorry. So maybe it's a good way to attract more people to the webinar later this week then.
One thing I stumbled upon because I did a bit more research was that if you will pitch for a company, it's not only about how your product was made, so your product history, but it's very important. Dutch people look very much towards the future and are very busy with strategy and vision. So you should also include in your pitch more how you see that how your product can add to the benefit of the company you're pitching it at or your service. So in Romania, it's a bit more common because you spend more time relationship building, that you get this information in a different way, but Dutch companies normally look at your website, so your website has to look very good. They will do a lot of research. So as you enter into the, let's say, the pitching room, you should be aware that your Dutch partner is already better prepared than you think. So it doesn't make sense repeating most of the information on your website, but talk more how you can add value to their services and how you see your company developing in the next 5 years.
Very good tip. Yeah, thanks. All right, so more on that apparently later this week. Ewout, thank you so much for now.
Ewout will have a whole webinar to speak about cultural differences in business in Netherlands and Romania. So please, everybody, don't forget to log in for that one as well. Do we have any other questions at this point for our kickoff webinar? If not, I suggest we wrap things up for now. I would like to thank again all 3 of our speakers and of course to you, dear attendants, for taking the time to join us today. The presentations, all 3 of them, will be shared with you after the webinar. And again, should you think of anything else you'd like to know from our speakers, just drop your questions in an email to info@nrcc.ro. and we'll make sure to get you the answers and put you in contact with the right people. Don't forget, this is only the first webinar of a whole week about exploring doing business in the Netherlands, and we are looking forward to welcoming you to our next webinar today, this afternoon, at 4 o'clock Romanian time, 3 o'clock Netherlands time. We'll be talking about tax and finance, the difference between the Netherlands and Romania with our friends from Mazars. So don't forget to log in for that one as well. With this, I would like to wish you a very pleasant day and thank again Dentoms for hosting us on their platform. And I'll see you all this afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.